Hi everybody, and welcome to today's session. I'm Ollie, and we'll be covering the new releases, features, into the latest release. If you've got any questions or any feedback, Mike will be on the live chat today, so head over to the YouTube chat and ask any questions or lodge any feedback there. Okay, so with this latest release, I think personally some of the features that are going into the system this time around is quite key in terms of the business process point of view. So there's quite a couple of new features in there which you can implement into your daily running in terms of there's one of them for automated receipts. There's plenty of things on the web store as well, which I'll come into more detail on. There's quite a good lot of features in here as well, order pads, etc., which we'll be covering in the session today. So first of all, we're going to be started on voice recognition. So our development team have been working on, similar to our iPhones have got Siri, basically a tool in Prima where you can speak to the system and tell it to do certain commands. So the first phase of this kind of new feature is opening modules and searching lookups in the system. So within your settings area, so at the top here, you've got the option to enable Prima voice recognition. So when you enable that, the voice control will pop up and say, how can I help you, kind of thing, and then you would then say, okay Prima, open sales order lookup, for example. So I'll just show you a quick clip we've put onto our YouTube channel of that being demonstrated now, so just bear with me 1 second.
Okay, Prima.
How can I help you?
Open dashboard.
Opening dashboard.
Open journals.
Opening journal lookup.
Hi, it's Molly from Prima.
How can I help you?
Okay, so that's the voice recognition. So at the moment, it is just opening modules or searching modules in the system. I was speaking to one of the developers the other day. The next phase will be things such as adding lines to sales orders. So opening your sales order and then telling the system to search for a certain product code or a certain description, and then adding those lines to your order without having to touch the mouse. So you can walk into it one day, open Prima, and then start talking away, basically. So quite impressive stuff that the development team have been working on that one. Next one to cover is the automated reports, which we've covered in a webinar previously in terms of how to set those up. Mike will send a link through, but basically what we've done to that area is previously you could only send the spreadsheet reports and the PDF copies, whereas now you can send the analysis reports as well. So if you've customized an analysis report in the system, you can send that through on an automated basis through to your inbox or multiple inboxes from the automation job. Okay, another new feature, multiple email addresses in Prima. So if I just open up the admin, what you can do now, so if you logged into the administration area, went to general and into email system setup, within here, rather than having just one email account sending all your records out of the system, you can now have multiple email addresses within here. So as an example, we've got on screen there, we've got two accounts, training at and support at. So from the system, basically if I was sending an email with about a call log or a training call log or something along those lines, or in your example, a sales order or a sales invoice, you can send it out from a certain email. So if, for example, you've got users that are just doing your invoicing, you can set up an account site address within your email account and then assign that as a default to that user. So for example, our accountant Joanne, she'll come into the system, have an account sat primasoftware.co.uk, and then when she sends the invoices out of the system, it'll send from account sat rather than support at or training at, if that was to be set up. So that would be setting up multiple email addresses within the email system set up here, and then what you would do against each user, you'd assign the default against it. So against my user, for example, the default is to send from this email account. So within the system, before you send your email, you can see there then an option to change it to the support at for the one-off email or something along those lines. Okay, Next one, price checker. So within the price check function here at the top, if I just click into there, we've added in the average unit price as well as the unit price itself. So I'll just show you how that works. So if I search for a customer in the price history, and then looking on the consolidated, this column here is a unit / average price. So when it's working off consolidated, it's working out an average price of those 4 items. So rather than going to the by item and searching, that is just the unit price. So in each of these, one's the unit price, which is by item, and then in your consolidated one, it'll work out an average price of those products and a total of those as well. Okay, next one, really impressive one, probably my favourite one out of this release, is the auto completion of the receipt notes. So in the system, if you send through, for example, a direct delivery through to your supplier, you then wait for an invoice to be raised in the system, which kind of acts as a confirmation that delivery to your customer has been fulfilled. What you can do now, rather than the invoice dropping into the system, completing automatically, etc., and having to complete your receipt note, what it can do now is it'll drop into Prima, the electronic purchase invoice, and then that'll then look for the receipt note that's outstanding and confirm that as well. So basically, once you've raised your sales order for your customer, it's going direct. If you use back to back, you send it through straight away via EDI to your supplier, and then that then would generate your outstanding receipt and dispatch note. As far as you're concerned, that's then the process done for your electronic supplier, because when they upload the electronic invoice, that'll then backtrack and have a look at the receipt note, match with the purchase order lines, and then complete it into the system. So there's a little bit of setup to do it for each supplier, which if you just open the company area and go to the supplier you're wanting to set it up for. So for example, I'll just open my test company, but you go to your suppliers such as Spices or Vow, etc. And then within the company record, if you go to the supplier tab, you've got the option within here. So once this is loaded up, we'll be able to have a look at that. So supplier, and then within here you've got the option, there it is, autocomplete direct delivery note on invoice. So that just basically what was just going through then, when the purchase invoice lands into the system, that'll then confirm your receipt note, which in turn will confirm your delivery note, and then your customer would then be free for invoicing, as well as you've just paid your or got your supplier's invoice through the system as well. So reducing the clicks again, so a really good one for again the daily business running of your business. So you can have an automated routine put into now the receipts area, as well as your purchasing and the sales side of things as well. Okay, moving on to the next one. So again, any questions while we're going through it, Mike's in the live chat, or you can hang around after the session where we'll both be free to answer any questions. Okay, so next one is the picking list report. So movements and dispatch, and if for example you were picking from your warehouse, if we go to available lines within here, run a search, and then these items here we can run a picking list off. So if I view the report, what's been added in is basically the van route and the bin location, so you can see straight away where it's coming from, and then the van route is on the right hand side there as well. Okay, so that was fairly quick one. Next one, CRM queries. So we've done a webinar on the CRM side of things before with the 3 queries that were originally inputted into the system, and there's now a new one. So the 3 CRM queries that were in there previously were based on values. So for example, if a customer normally spends £200 but hasn't yet spent £100, that was the query in the system previously. Now what you can do, rather than searching on values, you can search on a certain percentage as well. So if you were looking at a customer that's dropped in buying by 50% in the last month, or 20%, etc., you can run that command from the CRM function. So for those of you that haven't seen the CRM side of things before, we have got a webinar if you want to have a look at it. But basically, you go into your contacts area, click on your coloured bar at the top, and then run on the CRM query at the bottom. And then from the drop down, you've then got your options in terms of finding certain customers based on a spending pattern or value or etc. from these commands. So the new one here is the companies that haven't spent a certain percentage in the last so many days of the total spend in the last so many months. So an example of that one could be a companies that haven't spent 50% in the last 30 days after spending so much in the last so many months. So an example of that one, just to kind of break it down a little bit, would be if it was the month of March, you were looking at in January a customer spent £500 with yourself. In February, they only spent £250. So by running this command by a 2-month period or a 1-month period, you would then be able to see, right, okay, well, in January they spent £500, but in February they dropped by 50%, and then from this query you'll be able to locate those customers that have dropped by that certain percentage. So it's a really good one for finding customers that the spend has dropped by a certain percentage. So it could be the case that it's a school, perhaps they're not in, it's a half term or a summer holidays or something, that's the reason why they've not spent. But for your other customers, you can quickly see, right, okay, well, why are they not spending as much with us this month as they were in the prior 2, 3, 4, 5, etc. months in the system. Okay, order pads is the next one. So order pads was put into the previous release, but now what you can do with the order pads is have a weekly or monthly or whatever, some sort of schedule to say like a regular order basically. So you could have a customer that's having a paper order once a week. So within the order pad section, if I just open the order pads, and I'll just search for my test account again, and then from here you can see there regular paper order. So you can create your order pads from the new record option, so new record order pad. But if I was going into an existing one, I can open the order pad and there's an option to schedule it. So if it was a regular paper order or an order that they're replacing every month, and rather than you having to go into the system, creating it, or them going onto the web store to build a basket, it can automatically create within here. So you can see the order pads, this is the paper that they're buying, and then you've got the option at the top there to schedule the order. So if I click onto that, and then similar to the automated reports, you then put in your description, so weekly paper order, hit the new, and then when you create this new entry, you can then edit the schedule on the right hand side there. So you click on edit schedule and decide exactly when this order is going to be scheduled for. That'll then generate your outstanding sales order in the system, and you can push it through with the weekly order or the monthly order or whatever the schedule is in the system. So quite, again, one, reducing clicks. You don't have to go into the system and raise your order every week, or your customer doesn't have to go onto the web store to place the order. It's just all the systems doing all this work for you. So it's taking the stress away of having to build or kind of the workload of doing these tasks in the system. Okay, next one. So within the sales order, when you added a line that had multiple pack sizes, if for example you added an each pack size to the order and there was an available supplier but for a pack of 10, you would have to delete the line, add it on as a pack of 10 to be able to have that supplier. But now within the system, if I just have a look at an outstanding order, I'll show you that. So basically you can double click the available supplier and it'll update your line on the system and the pack size as well as the supplier as well. So hopefully this one's got the code I was thinking of. I think that's the one. So I'll just open that line, and then within your supplier cost prices, yeah, perfect. Okay, so as you can see here, the sales unit against the order at the moment is a pack of each, and there are available suppliers with a pack of 10. So previously you would have had to have changed to either the pack size that matches, or you would have had to enter the line on as a pack of 10 to be able to then select your VAW or your spices. Whereas now, if I double click VAW, that updates the pack size and also updates the supplier, so you don't have to re-enter lines onto the order. Okay, another enhancement that's gone into the latest release. So a quick one being, if you're in this area here, you can use a keyboard shortcut just to close down the window. So rather than having to click the close option, you can hit the escape key on your keyboard, and that'll then close the window. Also, there's another quick feature. So within the sales order, so if I just open that one up again. So before you actually archive something in the system, so if I tried archiving this order now, so some customers have fed back and said, well, it's quite close to authorising the archive options. So now when you hit archive, it prompts you for, are you sure you wish to archive? So that'll save a few users from having to copy an order again and accidentally archiving an order. On to the next one. So same with logging out of the system as well. So if I've got multiple windows open and I hit the logout option by mistake, that's then going to prompt me with other Prima windows are open in the background. Are you sure you want to close Prima? So I'll just click no, and that'll then keep me in the system. Okay, so that's everything for the client point of view, and now I'm just going to cover a couple of quick features that have gone into to the Prima Go web store as well. So I'll just drag over the web store. Okay, so this is our test web store in the system. So if I just do log in with my test user, and basically the first one, within a contract or an order pad, you used to have your list of, well, you still have your list of your items within there. So you can see your binders, etc. So you may have a contract of 100 items, and previously you would have had to filter through and find those products. Now what you can do is search within the contract. So for example, if I search for KF24001, hit enter, and then that's then going to find me that item within the contract. So it's just a quick way for your customer online browsing the contract list and finding the item that they're wanting to purchase. So you can see there straight away, add that to the basket. Happy days, goes through to the basket. So, and going on to the next feature, so within your basket area or the checkout, if you click into there, there's now the option as well, if you're using delivery codes, so against the location in the system, you can assign a certain delivery code. So if they spend over £50, the delivery is free. If they don't spend over £50, it's £30 delivery charge, as you can see in this example here. So it comes to a grand total of £12. The delivery, because of that, is £30. But the system or the web store will now tell you that if you spend £38 more, you're going to get free delivery. So a really handy feature in there for the web store point of view. So in terms of delivery charges, again, we've got a webinar on that separate to this one. So Michael put that in the chat if you want to have a look at how you can set those up and assign it to certain locations in your database, and that'll then apply to the web store when they come to checkout. So just a way of making sure small value orders aren't going through without your customer being notified of delivery charges in the web store. Okay, so that's everything for today's session. If you do have any questions, myself and Mike will be on the live chat. We'll be hanging around for a little short while to answer your questions. Any feedback, again, please log that on the chat as well, or send an email through to training@primasoftware.co.uk. But yeah, thank you for your time, and hope you all have a great weekend. See you next week.